It's Motorhead right here on your Classic Metal Show with We Are Motorhead. And I didn't see your request there until it was too late. So
thanks a lot, buddy.
Sorry.
Jeez.
We'll play your Dio after.
That's fine. Whenever. I mean, it's just something that when I was listening to that song, I was like, well, that would fit.
Sure, absolutely. Well, we got somebody on the phone. Hail and Kill, caller, you're on the air.
Hey, thank you so much for playing this song. Hey. I love it. Fucking Motorhead rules, man. Living rules. Thank you very much, Mr. Neely. I love it. Thank you.
All right, John, please do not make me start hating you tonight.
There he goes.
Please do not call 4 more times.
Right.
Please. I'm trying to be civil tonight.
I know you are.
But 3 is your limit, sir.
That's it. John, we appreciate you being such a hardcore fan, but 3's enough.
You got 2 calls and your request. We're done here, friend.
Exactly.
Don't make me call you out for being a drunken cunt.
Right. All right, dude. Well, while we were away, we accumulated some emails.
Okay.
So I thought maybe we could get into some begging for email.
All right. I have some messages as well.
All right. Well, why don't you dig them out and have them at the ready?
All right.
And that way we can share with everybody the people who checked in over the holiday or over the break.
Okay.
So here we are. It's time for some begging for email.
It's time for the Classic Metal Show to start begging for email.
What the hell is email?
Det sent me an email.
Well, when you figure it out, email me.
And here's your loser beggars, Neely and Chris.
You've got mail.
All right, going back to our discussion, our short discussion about the 20th of January coming up here.
Mm-hmm.
Sal from the chat room checked in with me. I don't think he'll mind me reading this email, but since it came to me personally, but it's something that apparently we strike a chord with certain people. Things that we say or our observations that are like-minded folks agree with some of the things that we do say on here, like our last caller who appreciated our take on the election, and even though he wasn't so eloquent explaining himself, he somehow whatever it is we said resonated with him.
Right.
So as good as he was not explaining himself, he was still trying to say that he agrees with our viewpoint.
Okay.
Well, Sal from the chat room wrote in. He said, "Hey Neely, listening to the podcast. I am sure January 20th will be met with protests nationwide, but I just made dinner reservations at the Trump Hotel in Chicago, and I am ready to bop through the effeminate males and the Rachel Maddow-looking bull dykes who will try to block the entrance. Hail and kill, Sal from the chat room, and I will be checking in tonight."
All right, Sal. Well, welcome.
So, so Sal agrees with us about the whole, the effeminate males. I've been doing a project downtown Chicago for the last month, so I've been having to make a few trips down to the downtown area, especially to an area called the Merchandise Mart.
How much did your bulletproof vest cost?
Well, the area that I went, the area of Chicago that I'm going to or are working in is not, in the line of fire.
No, but when you go back to your office, it's
I definitely don't take the roads that go through that bad area. But anyway, the Merchandise Mart is a, upper scale or higher end, shopping district or area or whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
And going in and out of there, to manage this project.
Yeah.
Everybody that I see shopping there or working there are exactly what Sal describes as the effeminate male. I know that the term that describes them are the metrosexuals.
Ugh.
But these guys are so far from being men.
You want to buy a hat and they want to measure your inseam? Is that what we're talking here?
Well, they're very genteel, delicate looking men.
Hi, how can I help you?
Exactly. Very, very thin, and they're just effeminate. They just look like male versions of women, I guess.
Do they have the faggy, well-kempt beards?
They
too?
do, absolutely.
Ugh, he's fucking queer. Every guy looks like the fag on Modern Family, right?
Yeah, Yep. So my boss, who you know,
the woman or the guy?
the guy,
Okay.
he accompanied me one day down there to the project site.
Right.
And as we were walking, I said to him, I said, do you notice how many of these effeminate guys are walking around this area? He goes, yeah, I know. It kind of creeps you out, doesn't it?
Nice.
Yeah, he says, yeah, I know. I noticed that too.
Ugh.
So it's just very, and to use a very cliche term, it's just very gay.
Yeah, it is. Will that stop you from buying something?
Probably, yes.
Would it really?
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't shop certain places, yeah.
I mean, I get certain things, like the inseam. You don't want some faggy guy fucking cupping your balls to see if they fit in your drawers. But, if you were buying, I don't know, this is going to be a real stretch because I can't imagine any of these guys working in an AutoZone. But if you were in AutoZone and some fruit said, hey, let me help you with your air air filter, you wouldn't buy the air filter?
You know what? I probably wouldn't be shopping there to begin with.
What, at AutoZone?
Well, no. I can't imagine one of those faggy guys working at AutoZone.
Well, they can.
I'm not saying they can't. I just don't imagine that be the environment for them. They're more.
They might be better working on a Barbie car.
Well, or you more or less find them working at like a Lord and Taylor men's store, or at the Gap, or something like that. Not at an auto parts store where, God forbid, they might get oil on their fingers.
I would argue you'll never find them working at a Gap. No way. Never mind. It was a gay joke.
Yeah.
All right, I told a bad one.
Or working on a Gap or a Gash.
That's what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
All right, it's a bad joke. I'm allowed. I got to fill 6 fucking hours. I'm going to tell some bad ones.
Right. All right, let me see here.
I'll read one.
Okay, go ahead. You go right ahead.
All right, this, I'm not going to say who gave us this one, but it is a caller from another country, a frequent caller.
Okay.
But here's his. This is an interaction more than just an email. He messaged me and said, "You're fat as fuck, and so am I. How do you get fucked and sucked, and I don't? What do I do wrong? Is it money?" So I answered, attitude and money. That's all I wrote, attitude and money.
Sure.
So he writes, "I got the attitude, but no money. Don't you mind if they fuck you only for the money?" Can you guess what my answer was?
No, I'm getting fucked one way or the other.
Nope. Couldn't care less. I don't want a girlfriend.
Nope.
Now here's the kicker of this whole thing. His answer is, I only want to get sucked.
Okay.
Don't want a girlfriend, but I'm too fat. Maybe there's something more wrong about me. These are the kind of conversations I have online.
Yeah, so people are getting introspective with our, the show.
Yeah, exactly.
They kind of like are analyzing themselves just by things that we say.
Right.
Okay.
So that was my interaction, and it goes on from there. But from there, it would give away who this guy is, so I will not read further.
All right.
But how's that?
That's interesting.
It's quite a mail, right?
Yes. Well, the real Eddie Trunk checked in.
Really? The real Eddie Trunk?
The real Eddie Trunk.
Okay.
Checked in with quite a lengthy email here.
All right.
Hail and kill, fellas.
Hey,
this
buddy.
this is the real Eddie Trunk once again.
Okay.
It's about 2:30 a.m. in the tri-state area, and to be quite frank, it's colder than a nigger's nutsack.
Well, Eddie, such language.
Well, I'm just reading exactly what he wrote.
Okay.
I'm in my minivan waiting in the drive-thru. I realize your answering machine is on a tight budget of what, like 5 minutes running time? Please. Anyway, what better time to brush you with some razor-sharp wit and my own brand of unrestrained gusto?
Okay.
You guys, I've been doing this a long time. I've been in the music industry for I have been in the music industry for quite some time. I'd like to think I've learned a thing or two about a thing or two, and then some.
Well, thanks, Ed.
Congrats on your success in 2016, and perhaps I could get a guest spot in the near future, or maybe even give you some pointers during your interview sessions. Show you what you're doing wrong. I like to think I've got a very robust and innovative platform. You're well aware I like strong and open debate.
Good.
Wendell, you tell me Oreo cookie, I say nigger biscuit.
Oh,
You tell me cash register, I say Jewish piano.
wow.
Chris says Goya rice, we'll tell him unhinged domestic abuse.
What the hell?
You give me Paul Stanley, and I'll give you Barbara Walters special personified for God's sake. What Kiss fan doesn't want to know if it's true that Peter Criss wears wet socks to bed? This is the type of shit that keeps me up at night, boys. Just so goddamn ridiculous because I'm so dangerous.
Well, that's that.
Sadly, with all this wasted time at this point, I could have been in Kiss Paint Me Up Like a Raccoon or in blackface and give me a tambourine. I'll sit in the corner of the stage silently, but nope. No Bojangles or mumbo jumbo facial war paint for the devil himself. Good God, man. This is the treatment I get after writing numerous essays on the music from the Elder record.
All right.
You know, Wendell, if you're ever interested in swapping some talent, I could use Serena around the office. Internship wages, of course, and hey, marriage is like a diet, but just because I'm fasting doesn't mean I can't look at the menu. Am I right? You know, I've always said this, and I say it in my own show and in the bathroom stalls. God forbid anybody should ask me how I'm feeling. I've spoken with the real Jeff Tate and the real Tim James, and they both agree with me on the Scab Kiss lineup. This topic is far-reaching and divisive as Hillary Clinton's mustache. You know, I haven't felt this eager since I saw the orangutan dressed in white after Labor Day at the Rocklahoma. Regardless, I know we've had our differences, Wendell, but I felt it's time to bury the proverbial hatchet and move forward for the hard rock and metal scene. Mano y mano, like they say in Telemundo.
Well, so how do you react to that? Are you gonna shake hands with Ed?
I may see him in NAMM. I know he's going to be out there, emceeing a couple of the shows around that time, so I'm sure that I will run into him, perhaps.
Will you buy his book?
You're going to have to reconnect, dude. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead now and just make mention of Bob Blotzer and his obviously despicable attitude during this whole show, this whole Rat fiasco. His band Rat Marks 15 or whatever they're called now is like some grotesque Hasidic Jew who buys lots of porno DVDs and then after jerking off to each one, returns them all to the adult boutique shop he purchased them from and states, "These are no good," and demands store credit. Once again, The thought process is just staggering, you guys. It's quite the analogy because I invented the analogy. I'm not a monster. Fellas, I don't know for Chris the Manimal Aiken, but I do know you, Wendell. You have a black belt in behaviorology.
Wow.
I have a black belt in behaviorology.
Didn't realize you had that award.
I did not know that either. So what are your thoughts on Eddie Trunk Reparations Challenge? I know. I've got numerous side projects, but I feel this one just might be a more definitive than some cliche cookbook. I keep picturing myself dressed up like a 1940s organ grinder and maybe have Mr. John Rufo be the quote-unquote monkey collecting the donations, tapping on apartment windows in some saucy urban ghetto where the air has a slight fragrance of watermelon. Speaking of the great Rufo, we've been working on a bass line for a song titled Balloon Knot. Well, I've been working on it. He mostly just drinks. And the idea is to speak, sure, he'll deny it and insult me, but he'll just be remembered that he put the he'll insult me and deny it, but just better remember who put those salve on the gangrene wounds of his after each of his gigs. All right, guys, my sliders are ready. I got some ranch sauce calling my name, just like the Spictina amputee from my book signing in Idaho last year. You know, Wendell, if you just learned how to lower your standards a bit, you might get some too. Or maybe, just like Bill Aucoin or Bill, oh, yeah! Hail and Pal, Clean Blood Black Girl, the Trunkster.
Clean Blood Black Girl?
Yeah, Clean Blood Black Girl.
You must be kidding.
AIDS free.
Wow.
Yep. Well, dude, I'm going to take a short break. I'm going to let you fix something over there on your end because you've diminished greatly.
Oh.
So you might have to do some rebooting or something.
All right.
So I'm going to play your Dio song, and we'll come back, and we'll see if we get that straightened up for you.
All right.
All right. So let's get into some Dio real quick. I'll play a tune or two, and let Chris fix his issue over there, and we'll come back. So anyway, from the Strange Highways release, I'm going to play some Dio here. This is by way of Chris Aiken request. And where the hell is it? Strange Highways. I got it. All right, there it is. Strange Highways, Dio. And you wanted to hear Firehead. All right, here's Dio with Firehead exclusively here
on your Class Metal Show.